Hey guys, it's week 6 and we've made it through your first essay. You've got that first essay under your belt. Now we're moving on to your next assignment. So we're just about 2 weeks from midterm, and this week and next week we'll be talking about a revision assignment. So even though it's a new assignment, it's going to feel really familiar. This week, the E1 revision assignment is what we're going to get started on. You'll also have a basic punctuation assignment. Let's talk about the revision assignment first. So go with me to the guidelines. I've clicked on this link already into a new tab. Here are the guidelines. So we're continuing Essay 1, and we're working really still some more on building those basic writing skills that we worked on in Essay 1. We worked a lot about brainstorming and planning and drafting in that one. Now we're taking a whole assignment just to focus on those last two parts of the writing process, revision and proofreading. So this assignment will be due at the end of week 7, which is next week. It's going to be basically in the same format, but notice that I've upped the page limit, so you can have it no more than 4.5 pages now instead of 3.5. That's actually one of the requirements. Your essay has to be at least half a page longer than the original, and that doesn't mean just adding to the end of it. It means adding to the evidence that you've given or the examples and thoughts you've provided, making your body paragraphs more in-depth, things like that. So focus on those areas first before you add new body paragraphs or anything like that. Also has to have good changes in content or structure and organization. You'll find comments on those in the Turnitin after you get your grade. Make sure you go and look at that actual written feedback and review all of it, the summative comment on the right, and those thought bubbles and all the other marks inside the draft itself. You do also need to proofread for those grammar and mechanical errors, sentence structure, punctuation will be in this one, all of that stuff. But that's not the only thing that you should be doing. So notice this big note right here, fixing only grammar or doing additional proofreading without making changes to the ideas or structure of the essay will result in the essay earning 0 points. So I'm looking for way more than just you polished it up, cleaned up those errors. I'm really looking for you to make it a better essay as a whole. So this one's worth 60 points. These E1 and the E1 revision together go together to make one whole essay grade. That's why it's a little bit fewer points. Here is kind of your grade breakdown. And there are 2 more components to this one than there were in the last one. A plan for revision, which will be due this week, and a revision reflection, which will be due when the actual thing is due next week in week 7. So those are here for you. Don't forget those parts. They're separate documents, but they are necessary for your grade for this one. So let's go back to the actual Moodle class. You have your assignment guidelines that we just looked at. Here's a folder for resources for revising well. This is a web page that gives a lot of information about providing good evidence. And our writing essays folder is back. That's always going to be back, but make sure you take a look back at that. Then your assignments, the plan for revision that I just showed you in the assignment guidelines, that's due this week. Make sure you look at your feedback from Turnitin from E1 first before you get that one done. And then we'll have a basic punctuation assignment. So here's the assignment, here's the submission link. And let me show you this assignment. So I've downloaded this already for you. It's in a Word document, and here's what you need to do. So notice that this has a bunch of links on it. So we're doing this worksheet. This is kind of a self-guided lesson in punctuation. So you really need to make sure you're finding these rules, looking at these rules, copying these rules down, and then applying the rules to the sentences below. So here's how you do that. So the first one is to use a semicolon. If you're in the document and you're on your laptop or your computer or whatever, hold your control button down, then click it. That's going to take you to the Purdue OWL page. So notice the first one is not a semicolon. Second one is. So use the semicolon when you link two independent clauses with no connecting words. And then they give you an example. That's what I want you to put here, those rules. So that was rule number 1. Rule number 2 is here. So don't copy and paste, but type both of those rules in here. And then use those rules to fix these sentences. If a sentence is correct, just put a great big old C in front of it, and that'll tell me that you think that it's correct. This one's not necessarily correct. I'm just showing you. So that's how to do that assignment. Look at how long this thing is. Page 1, page 2. There are like 50 questions on this, maybe more. So please don't wait on this thing. This is going to take you some time, and you may not want to do it all at once. Remember, this is a learning process. You don't want to jam it all in your brain all at once. Maybe take it in chunks. Maybe do 3 at a time and then take a break and come back, or even do over the course of a few days, do a few at a time. So that's this week. Those are the 2 things that you need to do. Also, just be thinking about that plan for revision is going to help you think about how to go through and do this next assignment, but maybe it's time to start thinking about or starting to make a few revisions or changes. Can't hurt, because this thing is due already at the end of next week. So have a good week. Let me know if you have any questions or stop by, and I'll see you next week.